Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us on today's webinar session. Today's topic is From the Trenches, Security Awareness Training Tips and Tricks That Work. My name is Camille Dupuis, and I'll be moderating today's webinar. First, let's lightly touch on the agenda before I turn it over to our speakers. First thing that we're going to do is take a look at implementation and how we can get everyone on board with a program. Then we'll cover measuring success and providing value. So looking at how some of the data we collect and some of the information we know can help us build up this program. We'll then look at how to create a culture of security awareness in your organization and follow up with why you need security champions. I'll go ahead and turn it over to our speakers. They can introduce themselves and get us started.
Thanks, Camille. My name is Sonja Christoffersen. I'm a Client Success Manager here at InfoSec Institute with the Security IQ team. I work day-to-day with clients globally creating security awareness programs.
And hello, everyone. My name is Emma Waite. I'm one of the solution managers here at InfoSec Institute for the Security IQ team. My responsibilities are working with customers initially during the implementation process and making sure there's a good handoff with their Client Success Manager.
Thanks so much, Emma and Sonja. We're happy to have you today joining us.
I'm excited to talk to you a little bit about how you go about setting up a successful security awareness program. What does this look like, and how do you move forward to get your stakeholders involved? Obviously, there are a few components you need to think about as far as capturing and sustaining support from leadership and other stakeholders, as well as getting those results to your management and decision makers as you're creating that culture of security awareness. As far as capturing the buy-in, creating a training plan and sharing with leadership includes a few different aspects that we tend to stress while we're working with our clients. How often do you want to train your clients? What topics are important to your organization, such as certain compliances, how frequent you need to roll out training to your learners? What kind of delivery types work for your clients? Specifically, some folks work better with computer-based training, some folks work better with offline reinforcing supplemental reminders of security enforcement, etc. And then obviously setting an employee expectations so they're not caught off guard and that they're excited to be a part of your human firewall. One great resource that we've found within the trenches, so to speak, of security awareness can be your human resources department. They can help you establish consequences for employees who do not complete training. That gives you less to worry about because most of the clients I work with day to day are security admins, security officers, and we are not the only vendor that they work with. So they need to be able to have their hands reaching out to all of their learners, yet have that that reinforcement from their stakeholders.
Perfect. Thanks, Sonja. So also the products and features that we have available on the platform today, some of the things to look forward to in the future coming to Security IQ is going to be the Security Policy Enforcement tool. So what this will do is it'll help configure automation rules in the platform to send emails with a copy of your security policy to different, HR representation folks, as well as managers when employees, don't complete training. They may fail a number of phishing simulations or have out-of-date end browsers. So basically, any trackable metric in Security IQ will be able to be reinforced using the security policy.
Next, let's move on to talking about some reporting tips and tricks and see useful ways to use that data in your security awareness program. Emma, I'll have you talk about this section, please.
Perfect. So as far as going in, why is reporting important? Obviously, we want to make sure that one, we're getting the metrics needed. There's a lot of times where I'm working with customers in the beginning of the implementation period where they're working on getting buy-in from stakeholders as well as buy-in from other members of the organization. And one of the important things that we look at is let's put together some reporting functionality to help start off like, hey, what's your current susceptibility rate as an organization? Where are you starting off? Because then you can also prove to the organization, like, one, this is important, but two, also like gives a really great way to track how well the security awareness program is working for your organization. So some of the tools, so going to the suggested metrics to share, some of the tools that I help people set up in the beginning of the moment, and Sonja, you can attest to this too when you're working with customers during the whole security awareness program, is putting together different reports that share, how many phishing simulations were open and what were the click rates amongst learners. Looking into that with our phishing simulation part of the platform, there's also a way to tie in training with those. So with folks that are clicking on emails, are they actually going in and completing the training afterwards? Are they going in to complete the training through our Aware portion of the platform once they get enrolled in that? There's also our tool in the platform called Phish Notify, and that is a great way to measure all the different emails that may get reported into the platform. So again, a lot of great reporting metrics that help build your case to get people on board to build your security awareness program. We also have another tool that integrates with your endpoint protection software to go a little bit deeper. So how this works is any endpoint protection thing that you have, we do have a list of those that are going to be available for our open API connection for that. And it will actually learn about different attacks that are going on in your learner's environment, and we'll actually send them real-time training that is related to the type of attack. So say if they just got a ransomware attack in their inbox, we want to make sure that they're getting that real-time training as to what to look for in the next time that you get an email that potentially has ransomware attached to it. So again, a really great tool to use. You can find that in the Security IQ platform underneath the account settings. We suggest that you go take a look at that.
Great, thank you, Emma, so much. Sorry about the slide movement there as well. Next, we'll hear from Sonja a little bit on how to create a culture of security awareness, and she'll go into a little bit deeper detail on what that really means for us.
Exactly, yeah, thanks, Camille. So working with your employees to create this human firewall, as we like to say, involves more than just rolling out an annual training program. We like to engage our stakeholders and the folks we work with to get their employees to understand that the use of their technology goes beyond understanding the basics of security. As far as employees using technology, that goes across the board with their roles. And so requiring good security habits is more of a multi-layered approach as shown here. So Security IQ will provide the computer-based training, but what comes after that? That's basically where the security champion role comes in. And so what is a security champion? Many people might think of someone wearing a cape. I hope no one's wearing a cape in the office, but that's okay. Basically, we like to look at this as a team of non-IT allies that will help with you to advocate security awareness message and model those best security practices among the peer groups. So this may include various managers that help roll up to IT so that you have a whole collective group of stakeholders invested in your security awareness program. So when you start building your army of influencers, you have to consider who you're reaching out to and who is there to help you out. So as I mentioned earlier, mobilizing a squad of security champions will help you improve reach and the integrity of security awareness efforts, and will help improve security hygiene all across your organization. So most folks will say, as far as a security officer or an IT manager, IT director, who exactly are these people? How do I pinpoint who these people are? These are people who are willing to dig in and help understand why the security awareness is important, and then send those messages off to their employees. And in turn, those managers can also help recruit employees from different business units to help create that awareness and spread throughout the organization to create a change in the culture.
Thanks, Sonja. So as far as what's available in the platform to date and kind of looking forward in the future to what's going to be available to our customers and potential customers that are going to be joining us. So when you log into the platform, there's going to be this awareness program automation section. And one area that I wanted to point out is building your security champions group. This is a great tool to use. It utilizes our dynamic group feature. For those that aren't familiar with what dynamic groups are in the Security IQ platform, it's a way to filter off of different attributes as well as different actions that folks complete in the platform and organize them in a group dynamically. So the parameters that we set to this is any of our A+ learners. So again, if you're not familiar, learners that are added into the platform are given a letter grade. Those can go up or down based off different actions that they complete. So we really view our A+ learners as those that are completing the training, reporting phishing emails, whether it's through our simulated phishing part of the platform or the reporting potentially malicious ones. They're going to be the active ones in the platform. So it gives you a good idea of who you potentially reach out to help be a security champion at your organization. Some other items that we're looking at are going to be the security champion modules. So once you have identified those security champions, we have 10 great security champion modules that are now available on the platform. You can also enroll champions in our upcoming leadership training series. So this training will cover how to encourage secure habits and how to correct unsecure end user behavior and when to bring in a manager for support. Some other tools that you have may have noticed in the platform, or for folks that aren't aware, we also have awareness posters that are underneath the program resources in AwareEd in the platform. These are great. They're actually award-winning posters that we've received a lot of accolades for, and we've received positive compliments not only from our customers but from folks that are touring the platform, because you can talk about it, you can get people in training, but as people are walking around the organization, it's always nice just to have that visibility, just a short snapshot of like, okay, what malware is, what a secure password is, because at times it may not be in the forefront of their mind. So again, we're trying to create this environment of, what is security awareness training and how can we best help, push organization in the right direction. We also have different copies of newsletters that you can make use of in program resources that will give you great monthly topics to send out to your organization to read. We've had some customers that do different competitions and incentives. For example, like utilizing the Fish Notify plugin, we have one customer that brings in donuts for the team that's identified the most potentially malicious or simulated phishing messages. You can use the different content as screensavers on the computer, as well as public and internal recognition for top performers. So again, looking at those letter grades, who your security champions are, and just making sure that your organization's protected and giving kudos when needed.
Sure. So thank you so much, Emma and Sonja, for that. Looks like we've got a couple of questions rolling in here that some folks are wondering about, helping to build their programs up. So let's start with the first question from Christoffer. What do you do if somebody keeps getting phished? So maybe they're not following their training, not completing that. Any tips for that?
So Sonja, you just ran into this the other day actually with a customer, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. So we have an organization where this exact situation happened, and they had gone through the phishing simulation. They had even gone through some of our AwareEd training modules, and their phishing percentage simply wouldn't decrease. And so actually they created a more advanced training program for them and gave them a special AwareEd course to filter them into, to reinforce some of those topics. And then and also he mentioned that they include a one-on-one type situation where they sit down and talk about what they might be missing, and why it's so, and more importantly, why it's so important to be catching these things and why their help is important as part of their collective group of employees.
Yeah, and I think just to add to that too, to hit Sonja's point home, we talk about these positive accolades and bringing positive recognition, but at the same time, like the carrot only works so much. We also got to look at the other motivational factor is the stick. So if people just aren't getting it and the fish rate is not going down, sometimes it's good to work with those folks, maybe set some disciplinary actions. We've definitely seen some customers where they rope it into maybe their annual reviews of like, hey, you're not completing the training, or your fish rate is this. And could disciplinary actions happen? Yes, and they'll work through with their employee group with that.
Sure, thank you. Looks like we have another question here from Michelle. So she says, I'm in an organization that has offices all over the globe. Any idea on how to get or create security champions in different offices, different time zones, maybe those folks that she's not really interacting with from her direct location?
Yeah, so I can feel free to jump in, Sonja, too.
Sure.
We have a lot of different customers across the globe that have offices in different time zones that speak different languages. So again, it's really focusing on looking at, building that security program. I think you have a great example of a customer you were just working with too. Do you want to chat?
Sure. Yeah, and actually, to back up what you just said too, I want folks that maybe aren't aware of our product and haven't dug into the Security IQ platform. We offer multiple language selections for our training, and that's typically why a lot of our global customers will select our product. I was told that actually 3 times last week that we went with you because you have the language options and the breadth of content that makes it possible for us to reach all of our employees across the globe. We do have an employee though, or excuse me, a client that has that exact example, and they've basically self-rolled out the Security Champions program, and so they do have these nodes across the globe where they can roll out a new set of challenges, a new set of training, and so that everyone's on the same page, even if they're globally distributed.
Sure, very cool. Thank you. Okay, we've got a question, another one here from Dennis. He says, I've been working with Security IQ for over a year, but how will I roll out kind of maybe this Security Champions program or this thing and keep his employees interested in this new feature? Is there any tips you have for that?
Yeah, I think just rely on our content. Our content team does a fantastic job with rolling out, new content on a monthly basis. I think last month they had like 40 new modules introduced to the platform. So as far as, that goes, making sure you're looking at your content, see what ones you've utilized. A lot of the times people have utilized our core 11 modules, which are great. They cover, phishing, security engineering, password security, but looking maybe into some deeper topics, maybe getting into some more role-based training too. We have some great options there, specifically our OWASP Top 10 Secure Coding for developers, and just getting more focus there. Do you have any recommendations, Sonja?
I think that, our OWASP is probably one of the biggest ones that I've talked to with clients who are on that year 2 or year 3 with Security IQ or with any type of platform. Being able to work with them myself, we're digging into beyond the fundamentals and foundational courses and how we can really branch out to that role-based training, like you said. So, like you said, rely on the content, and then you can come and rely on me to help you put that together and figure out a good time frame to reach out to your learners.
Definitely. And Sonja probably won't toot her own horn, but I'll toot it for her. Our client success team does a really great job at being an advocate and help you put together the Security Champions program. So if you're ever stuck or need any assistance, you're not going to be just left alone when you first join. You're on day one, you're going to be partnered with my implementation team, as well as introduced to your client success manager, who will help you put together your awareness program. So even if you're a year in, you're still going to have that content. There's still you're still going to be able to partner with them, and they'll educate you on some of the new features, whether it's new content coming out or maybe some new email templates in our simulated phishing part of the platform that will help bring your point home and further train your employees.
Sure, thank you. Looks like we have another question from Allie. How do you measure awareness in your organization? And I know you touched on some of that measurement, but maybe maybe do you have an idea of an overall measurement if you don't have a platform per se or something like that?
Yeah, so if you don't have a platform, obviously I would strongly recommend putting some sort of security awareness training together, right? We have a lot of folks that have partnered with us that didn't have it before, where they had maybe some content that they put on their LMS, or maybe they developed some simulated phishing emails in-house where, that's easily trackable. But I think just looking at the important metrics of, we understand that there's different, security appliances in place, but at the end of the day, we want to focus on your last line of defense, which is the human mechanism, right? How are you training your folks to successfully detect phishing messages? So whether it's gauging through your LMS, if you do have some of those security training documents, are people completing those? Like, do you have, I remember at an organization that I worked at before, they had us print off certificates for doing information security and data privacy training, and everyone had to hang that up in their cube. And if one of the security officers, someone walking by our cube, hey, I don't see you have a certificate printed out, did you make sure to complete that training? So those are some recommendations if you don't have something in place, but I think the best way to do it is through education. I mean, we've all been in school, right? And I think just looking at someone's grade, looking at their performance, and being able to track those different things as far as reporting phishing messages, that's also probably another way that you could do it, is looking at your internal process for reporting potentially malicious emails and seeing if people are doing that appropriately. How are you communicating that? That's another way that you can measure the security awareness of your company.
And I think that too, Emma, as well, it's about seeing the change over time. It's not about a one-off pamphlet or course that they go through. So really sticking to a program, whether that's computer-based, live training, whatever resources you have, as long as you have continuous reinforcement of these topics and of the importance of security and the growing importance of security, I think that's the key, regardless of what your resources are.
Sure. I like that point about, sticking with it, and you're not going to see instant results all of the time with some of the things you put in place. So that's a nice point there. Looks like we have time for one or two more questions here. We have Tori asking, what's the best way to start putting together a comprehensive training program, not just phishing, but passwords, social engineering, etc., kind of all of those cyber threats that we're looking at in today's landscape, maybe?
Yeah, so for those folks that are partnered with Security IQ, we have what is called our Security Excellence Program. That might be a good place to start if you're looking for a more comprehensive base plan. So what our Security Excellence Program is, it's a month 1 through 12 program. We're on a month-to-month basis. We're giving you different content. So month 1 is going to be establishing baselines. Again, for those folks that haven't done it, you always want to establish where your organization's at from a susceptibility rate starting off. Month 2, we're taking a deeper dive into phishing. Month 3, we're looking at password security. So again, looking at those focused topics and having that, so that is available on the platform for both our Aware portion of it, as well as our phishing simulation part of it. So do you have anything else that you want to add?
Yeah, I think keeping it relevant too. So not even just the maybe the specific compliance needs they have, but keeping it relevant in the news. So like with our Phish Sim platform, we offer a catch of the week email templates. So folks will say, oh yeah, I log into Facebook, I want to click on that Facebook email template. And you're keeping things relevant so that not only are you helping those learners when they're on their computers at work, but they can also take those skills home too and protect themselves with their own personal use.
Mm-hmm. And hitting on the catch of the week too. So one of the topics that we've seen come up a lot recently in just recent threats are these business email compromise attacks. So if folks aren't familiar with that, like that is a type of attack that you get an email on your computer and the hacker or person is trying to get you to respond with sensitive information. So it may not have any links, it may not have any attachments, but it's trying to get you to respond maybe with the corporate credit card or something like that. So we have training available on our platform that is going to really hit home like what you should look for. Obviously, you shouldn't be replying to emails, especially with sensitive information, maybe giving that person a call. So we have trained to not only reinforce, that type of attack, but going to Sonja's point, you also want to make sure it's relevant and staying up to date, which our content team does a great job at making sure that all those T's are crossed and I's are dotted.
Sure. Thank you. Looks like we'll follow up with just one more question here before we wrap up. So I know we talked briefly in the beginning about working with HR or, maybe some of these smaller organizations, maybe they don't have a large cybersecurity team that can put some of these ideas in place. So do you have any recommendations on working with HR or, how to kind of start those conversations about giving them ideas on a new program that you want to work with?
Yeah. So I think going back to the point, so depending on if you've ran a proof of concept with us or ran an initial campaign, HR is always going to like numbers, right? So if you're able to create a story and a business case as to why this is important, come with maybe some articles, but then showing them like, hey, this is the average phish rate in the industry, but look at where we're at in comparison to other people, and try to just create that awareness internally. Because I think once organizations see that, maybe they're not as protected as they thought they were. They may think that they have like a McAfee antivirus thing installed, but that's not going to be good enough because hackers are going to get smarter and they're going to find their ways to the platform. Also, HR professionals are, they appreciate training because that's something they want to do on a daily basis. So showing them the different content aspects there and really just teaming up with them, putting together a training calendar. I think, Sonja, you do a really great job at working with people with that too. So I don't know if you want to touch on.
I just would say kind of the over resounding message that I get from folks that are working with HR departments is that it's about being proactive and not reactive. So you don't wait until you have a malicious attack at your organization. Work proactively, and anyone that works in HR can appreciate getting on top of something before it bubbles up. So I think that just getting a well-rounded security awareness program, identifying your security champions, and being proactive with all of this will put you ahead of the game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and really hitting home communication too. So working at, whether your organization is smaller or larger, communication, being able to communicate back results and really showing them like, hey, here's our starting numbers, here where we're going, and putting those posters up, utilizing the different tools that are on the platform, just so that way it creates visibility, so the conversation can continue throughout the year.
Sure. So thank you so much, ladies. Some really great insights here for us, and some really practical tips for people to take away and use some of these ideas to create their own programs in their organizations, and overall just really holistically creating that cybersecurity awareness culture. So we definitely appreciate that. As mentioned, you'll receive a follow-up email containing the recording to the presentation today. But if you're looking for more information before that, you can head to the link you see here at the bottom of the screen. I wanted to thank everyone again for joining, and especially to our speakers for helping us out and giving us some really practical tips that we can take away and use today. Have a great day.